interest clients. We'll get to talk more about that, but still on something that has caused drama, at least on social media, where the former Nairobi governor, Mike Sonko, has promised to keep unleashing incriminating recordings of top judges, lawyers, and other public servants. He says the infamous Sonko leaks are his way of assisting the Chief Justice, the EACC, and the DPP to fight graft. Here's a sneak peek of an exclusive interview with the former governor. Take a look.
Former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko.
My name.
It's good to see you.
Good.
You have caused a firestorm the last couple of days. Sonko leaks.
Yeah.
Trends zote ni wewe siku hizi.
Ni kawaida.
Ati?
Ni hali ya maisha, ni kawaida.
I think top line, because we just recently spoke to the Judge Chitembwe Said of the High Court, and he, in sitting down with us, said that you had unleashed those clips on social media implicating him in bribery claims and allegations because of the decision that was made in Governor Kananu, allowing her then to assume office as governor, dismissing your matter. So, briefly, is it that you were just hitting back, pissed off that that war had finally come to an end for you?
No. Let me just first remove my kofia.
Yeah.
For Kenyans, wanione vizuri. Actually, I totally disagree with those remarks made by my good friend who said that he's my relative. I don't deny that. I want to deny those particular claims. Number one, he said first those are edited clips, which is not true. And I want to give you a very good example, Sophie. When you go take a footage, you're looking for news, you send your crew to ground. They can take a raw clip. It could be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. But when they come back to the studio, they concentrate on that particular clips, mahali kuna ile news ambayo wanataka. That is what you take.
Right.
But the good thing, you have the raw footage in your editorial office or whatever department. So I totally disagree with the judge. Those clips are authenticated. And I started dealing with the judge way back in 2016.
And yes.
You have told me I should not go to the details of some of these issues that are in court. To be sub judice for me to discuss those issues. Yeah. But also, I need to be given a chance to defend myself on the allegations raised by the judge. Number one, he said I was his relative. So he knew I was his relative. Why then do you take my matter if you know I'm your relative?
Okay, that's one.
He should have recused himself from handling my matter. We've dealt with so many cases in the judiciary. Once a judge has any relationship with you, whether it's your, not even a relative, a friend, anakujua, mnakunywa pamoja, he has to recuse himself.
Okay.
And I think that all judges, that is how they should behave when they're handling a matter ya mtu ambaye akona interest na yeye. So the judge is wrong. Number two, the judge said those clips were taken by Jimmy. Yeah. So he knew very well he was being recorded.
He said he knew after the fact, because he said he asked where your phone was, and he said it was in the car. Then later, from the way the clips looked, is when he said...
He's lying. You know,
so who was recording?
We had a land transaction with the judge even before he took over my impeachment case.
And I don't want us to go to the land transaction.
But you see, I have to defend myself. I'll not go into the details. I'll not mention names. But I just want Kenyans to just know what has been transpiring. The outcome of my judgment was influenced by a certain cartel of people who didn't want me back to the office. And that is not how judges operate. Yeah? Judges ni watu wanaheshimika. Nataka watu wangu pia wasikie mashinani. Wanaheshimika. You don't discuss the merits of a case with third parties.
But regarding, and as far as this interview is concerned, so this is for you not a vengeance plot against the said judge?
No.
This for you is...
Actually, it's the one...
What is inspiring all of this?
Okay, actually, it's
putting
the one
these clips
who
on
plotted
social media
against me. It is true we had a meeting after the judgment, but also we used to meet before the judgment. We were dealing in some other land matters where money exchanged hands. Yeah, he had presided over a land matter in Malindi in 2016. 2017, I bought these properties without knowing that the judge had an interest in the properties.
Allegedly, again,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
claim
So
you're making.
okay.
Yeah, so let's.
It will be difficult for me to clear my name at this juncture, but no problem.
Yeah.
I'll do it in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, public
in
opinion.
the way I do it, yes, I'll just do it. Because
So,
I've not filed any case in the JSC, even though we respect the Chief Justice, we respect the judiciary and the JSC. But the moment I file my case, I'll not have a chance of explaining the details of any case that is before the JSC or any court that is involving myself.
Well, that's just a sneak peek of that exclusive interview with the former governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Tell it all. And it's on page 6 and 7 of the Standard. Find out more on how there are no sacred lines to be crossed, or too sacred to be crossed. A lot more on Sonko's revelations, on what's motivating him in terms of the Sonko's leaks. And remember, all this has to do with the judiciary. A lot has to do with the judiciary in terms of the leaks. The JSC is currently looking into those allegations fronted against Judge Chitembwe, but according to Sonko, state officers should recuse themselves in such instances. Well, a lot more, according to him, is coming up, so definitely stay tuned for that and much more. We'll run the full clip of the interview later on during the broadcast. But let's start with the deliberations of the day, and perhaps just as I introduce my panelists, I'd like their quick reaction to the Sonko leaks, quote unquote, because I understand there's a court order out. We can't talk about the specifics. The JSC is looking into the matter, but it definitely paints a bad picture, whichever way you look at it, in terms of the judiciary and whether they are beyond Caesar's reproach, quote unquote. So Bunyasi Sakwa joins me in studio. Nambale, Member of Parliament. Asante sana for your time and good morning.
Good morning, Jesse.
Asante. Equally joined by Kevin Osido, who's the Executive Director of County Government Watch. Asante sana for your time. It's been a while, Osido. Karibu.
Asante, nashukuru.
Perhaps let's start with your thoughts on the man that is Sonko. Well, a man who records almost everything. No audience is too intimate. But this time round, he's a man on a mission. And according to him, it's not a personal vendetta. He's just cleaning up the judiciary in a way only he knows. Let's start with you, Osido. Well, what's your take on this whole drama and the revelations that have unfolded?
Thank you so much, Jesse, and good morning to our viewers. What the former governor of Nairobi City County Government is doing is a global phenomenon. We have seen recordings of videos and voices, that's audio for different reasons. It's not the first time that we are seeing recordings. In fact, high-level government officials being recorded. We had the former PS Gidongo recording Cabinet Minister Chris Murungaru. And after that, he fled the country and came back and is doing, he walked his path and is moving on. We have seen other agencies, including within the global, arena, sharing WikiLeaks. The other day we had leaks that actually even quote-unquote implicated our president, Uhuru Kenyatta, and his family. And these are global phenomenal issues. The only issue with Mheshimiwa Sonko is that he, in my view, from non-verbal cues, looks like, as you rightfully said, somebody who is fighting back. Because this is not the first time that Sonko is making such recordings. He put the president on loudspeaker, and that probably was one of the reasons for his, the beginning of his downfall. And what really would be interesting to look at is accountability, transparency from a governance perspective. And probably if citizens feel that they can be able to record government officials, remember that there are also rights of individuals that are being recorded. You have to share and inform the other party that you want to record, and also indicate reasons as to why you want to record. You have to seek consent, and if you want to do it for reasons that probably Mheshimiwa Sonko is doing, then you must be very ready to defend, and probably that is where now we find ourselves, where, for example, the judge is currently being investigated, I presume by JSC.
Yeah.
We'll have to begin a conversation around how DCI comes into this, because you also look at the amount of backlog of cases and monies that Sonko is talking about. Remember, he says they never met once. They met and had other dealings. So where is the space of conflict of interest for, state officers and public servants who are supposed to be very, as you said, rise beyond the scissors knife and indicate impartiality and also boost public confidence that the judiciary, for example, in this particular case, is one that cannot be implicated and is able to adjudicate over matters without citizens fearing that probably they have been compromised or that people that they are standing against in the cases that they could be involved are going to compromise the said judges. So this is a matter that I believe will set a precedence in terms of how we undertake and look at issues around transparency, accountability. But much more fundamentally, Jesse, is to look at the space of, public officers and civil servants declaring their interests in such kind of arenas where they are involved to be able to discharge, public duty.
Okay, and true, the JSC is definitely looking into those allegations, but the bigger question would be, Sakwa, the judiciary is usually looked at as the white sheep when you take a look at the three arms of government. It should inspire confidence, and as public officers, you shouldn't find yourselves in such situations. Does such recordings, what say you, does it inspire confidence in the judiciary from where you sit, even as we wait for the JSC to dispense of this matter, whether it's true or not?
It doesn't inspire confidence. But I think this demonstrates one fact of life, that most people operate at different levels in their discourse, in the way they relate to the society. There are things they do in public, there are things they do behind closed doors. The Sonko leaks are beginning in his own world, and he lives in many different worlds, reducing that gap, that divergence between that behind the doors communication and the public communication. People say one thing in private and do something else in public. That's true of our society, and I think it's a mirror in the judiciary as well. The judiciary is an extract of individuals from the society in which we live. And I think we should take a broader cue from a policy perspective, that there are many things that are going on that would be perhaps illegal or would be ugly, that are just a veneer below the surface. Sometimes we know that, but we don't explore it. And I think what's happening with Sonko, quite apart from the fact that it's hugely embarrassing both to the individuals and to the institutions involved, it also says something about himself. But I think we should all be conscious, particularly the law enforcement agencies, to scratch below the surface to get to these pieces of information. They can't be that secret. There's so much surveillance in this country, electronic and physical, that if he had been meeting with the said judicial officer, that's probably public knowledge. So I really think that he's done a good thing by revealing what goes on just below the surface. Not just, it's about a particular individual, which is a matter we can't get into, but generally speaking, that seems to be how we function. As my colleague Sosido has said, the revelations in this country seem to run all the way up the ladder of leadership in this country. So it means that this tendency for us to double speak and to be members of different worlds simultaneously is really widespread. And so widespread, it's what is underlying our corruption, our misgovernance, and so on. In some way, Sonko is a strange hero for revealing that. But everybody who deals with him has to be aware that Sonko has huge capacity to operate in these different worlds.
Interesting. Well, definitely, according to him, and he's been quoted on the Standard, I have nothing to lose anymore. If I never get back into elective politics again, I need to finish this war for the 40 million Kenyans who do not have a chance for justice. So according to him, he wants to fix the judiciary, and he's using this approach. A lot more on page 6 and 7 of the Standard on the Sonko leaks and what exactly you need to know, even as JSC is dispensing of this particular matter in a way only it can. Allow us to take a short break, gentlemen. When we come back, we'll delve deeper into the big stories of the day. One Kenya Alliance and the Mount Kenya Forum leaders sort of having a unity of purpose? Will it last the test of time, and to whose benefit? Stay with us. You're watching Morning Express.